Now this is a cutaway. I want to pass it around. This is one I messed up. Got it all finished. Got it in the bender, which this I've got it clamped on right here. And I just, impatient, clamped on it too much and it split. So I went ahead and cut it in half. It's approximately 1/8 inch. Mini hats. And I meant to call Chris Ramsey and ask him why particular. That the mini hats are about 1/8 of an inch. These bigger hats are a good bit thinner. Ambrosia maple. Now if you turn in the, I'm gonna skip around, but when you're doing the big hats, you usually turn this part first, you flip it around, and then you want to cut out the inside. But you don't want to waste the wood inside, so what they do is they core it out. I cut a piece, it looks off, this didn't come out of one, but you can get it out of a log or you can get it out of the center. When you're getting it out of the center, it is a little dangerous. I shed a little blood already with it, not much. But I've heard of people, I hadn't seen it, but Chris told me of people losing fingers trying to core it out. And I'm thinking they had the lathe too high speed and they got hung and it pulled.
What tool do you use to core it with?
I should have brought that thing. I think I've got a video of me using it. It's a homemade job. It's roughly 3 feet long. I got a sheet metal, gotta fabricate it and put a high-speed tip on the end of it. And I actually bent it already, and it's a pretty good thick piece of steel. Because when it got stuck, there again, live and learn. I learned to turn the lathe down when I'm coring them. Just be on the safe side. Now,
What's your website?
don't have one. I'm low tech.
Would you like us to post that video on the club website?
Yeah, that'd be fine. I got it on my iPad.
Okay. You can send it to Gerald, we can get it posted.
Now this, what we've got here is just, to oversimplify it, and I'll pass this around. This is about a 14-inch log, roughly. This is a white oak. I got a guy lives not too far from me. What he did, he's got a 62-inch and he's got a small mill, portable.
If you put it on a headstock,
Okay.
the workpiece you've got there, the camera's above,
Ah, okay, like that.
and right, and put it up there.
And what I got him to do is we cut a flat top, roll it over, cut this flat on this side, and then we cut 4.5, 2 inch out of the middle, and then to cut another 4.5 inch thick piece. I load them on my truck, take them home, cut them up with a chainsaw, round them up on my bandsaw. It's real easy to handle. I don't have to deal with a chainsaw. And if you've ever had heart surgery, you know why you don't want to deal with a chainsaw. It hurts. But then this 2 inch in the middle, what you end up with is quarter sawn, makes good platters. Now, did all y'all get the handout in the email? Okay. The bigger hats, according to how the tree grows, but this probably needs to be a minimum of 25-inch diameter. Some of them go up 30 inch, but they take 3 inches out of the core of that tree, and that makes some nice stuff there. You get platters on each side and no waste. You get your big hats. you core your little hats out. One other thing I forgot about. When you're doing the big hat, you can do it on the little hat. I don't. Don't want to take the time, I reckon. This is the way the hat sits on the lathe in the big block of wood. And you got all this waste wood that's right here. In this area right here. Because a big hat blank looks the same as this. Same, it's about 18 inches in diameter. Well, this is sitting right about here. And that core and tool I was talking about is what we cut off. And this will drop off. I think I got a video of that. It's soaking wet. Put it on the floor. Normally they just put some sawdust shavings on the end grain just to slow the drying down. They say about 6 months later it'll be dry. And it makes a beautiful frame. I did a sculpture of my granddaughter and use this for the frame. You remount it, you turn it, it makes a beautiful frame. You can put a mirror in it, paintings, just whatever you want to use. There again, I'll pass this around. What we're going to do is a hat where the hat band is. That's going to be 3 1/8 inches. It's going to be approximately 1/8 of an inch thick. And then above that, it's going to be just a little bit thinner. I'm sorry. Creature of habit. Have I got it right? Yep, we'll find out. There. 3 1/8 is the hat. The brim on each hanging out is going to be 1 3/4 inches. Overall, it's going to be about 6 5/8 inches. Now this is the 3 1/8. You got to be pretty accurate on that. The 1 3/4 inches, it can be more, it can be less, just according to the look that you want to get on it. Well, here's two. This is a 2-inch, and this is 1 3/4 inches. You can see, and the different height of the hat. You do it what's pleasing to your eye, because these hats are not fitting body. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. This is rough sawing on a band saw, and it's nowhere near, especially you see this end, it's nowhere near accurate. But it's rich. Normally it's not important, that end of it. We're going to round it up and true it up.
Is that mounted on a tenon?
This one, screw chuck, the lag,
Okay.
whatever that thing's called. We'll have to go kind of slow on this. We just want to bounce a good bit. I have to stop a lot and double check. All righty. Go down another ½ inch. Get it balanced up. Hopefully we can speed it up. The one I use is, I think it's got a, what's that, about a horse? Yeah, horse and a half. Mine's got about a 3 horsepower. Getting a little faster. Yeah.
You want me to check, see what belts you're on, and maybe it'll change belts and get you some more torque so it doesn't stall out so easily. Because you don't need the high speed.
I need torque.
We may have it set up for a higher speed.
I'm not sure how this one.
While he's doing it, I remind y'all, these sheets are out for a purpose. Please mark them. I'll go back and check them, but it would make my job a whole lot easier if you did it yourself. What is that? Sheets.
Gotta give it more torque. I never do change mine, so.
Is all the half wood wet?
Yeah, it's got to be to be able to bend it.
I mean, how
Fresher the better. I keep mine, if I cut it and don't get to it, which is usual, I keep a garbage can, plastic garbage can full of water, and I just put them in there. And they'll like, now they, be honest with you, this don't smell that good, but if it stays in there a month without changing the water, whew, sweet.
what about sycamore?
Any hardwood. Any hardwood. And I just sent one to a guy in Tennessee. He got it last night or yesterday in the mail, and it had a knot. It was this oak, had a knot that big in it. And the brim did not crack, split, cut like butter. It was amazing. I knew it was going to crack, never did. All righty.
240
All right, we're gonna give it a shot. Now this area right here is gonna be basically from the, it's got a knot in it too, right there in the brim. This is gonna be from the bottom of the brim, and this spot up here is gonna be where this area is 3/4 of an inch from here to here. Or do I need to have it up here? 3/4 of an inch from there to there. And then this is going to be this part out here. Now on this end we're going to have a tendon, because I'm going to turn it around and do it a little different than I've been doing them. So it won't have to be flipping them back and forth. And these tools will clog up. This is just a regular 5/8 bowl gouge. Nothing. This part I'm doing now is just regular rough end, just like you would a bowl. You just rough shaping it. Yeah. Let me speed it up and see if that will help any. I got it about 1,000. It was squeaked there at the end.
I'm trying to remember which way the higher torque of this on the bigger
Well,
one.
let's see. Low speed. That's a low speed.
All right, so that's what,
You got it. You got it right.
yeah. Well, maybe try that. Maybe it was slipping. I'm not familiar with this way. Mine's drug drive.
That's doing better. It's, yeah, it's a whole electrical. Cause the lathe gone. Nope, it's a blinking. Now it's back on now.
Okay. I don't know, I didn't really do anything except on the cord. Maybe standing on the cord now.
That's cutting a lot better.
Yeah, I felt it was slipping, I guess.
What I'm gonna do now, just turn a tendon on this end, and then we'll turn it around. I was just removing some waste wood there. Most all y'all know I used to sit there and didn't know. I've kept seeing people do this, and I went home and I stuck both ends of it. Don't do that. It's just this one end facing you. Is all it is. It just helps mark. What I did, I measured the inside diameter. We're going to turn a little spigot on the end of that. Forgot to bring my skew. What I usually flatten that up with, but we'll do it with this old parting tool. Just straightening this end up so it'll sit good in the jaws. Just using it mainly for scraping anyway. Go a little smaller. Yeah, go ahead and get a little more of this wood. Need somebody to hold this. Like,
Use your good shoulder feel and then tie that one up.
that's the little, what we use to hold. I just drill the hole and just to hold that on for safely. Most of the time, those guys do the big hats, they don't even use, they just have a face plate, put that 7,500 pound block of wood up next to it, tighten it up with that, and go with it, just to round it up. I've done it a couple of times, but feel much safer with the screw in there. tighten. That feels like it's slipping. There we go. This is where we're at now. We're going to flatten the bottom up. We're going to shape all of this. Mark where the top of the hat's going to be. Normally, what I do it, flip it back and forth, but it got where when I was flipping it back and forth, it kept getting out of balance. Well, you can see it's out of balance here now. I think I'm... This way I'm going to do it now is better off if you're a left-handed turner, but we're going to do it right-handed. Well, I'll do a little left-handed. Sometimes it's hard to get up in this area. Yes, sir.
When you bang, is that necessary? Do you have to do that to turn a hat?
No, but you got to clean this thing out. Chris Ramsey taught me that one.
I mean,
Steve, that tends to leave little nicks on the tool reps. And I think that just gets under my fingernails. I don't know,
Okay, I can do it with my finger.
there you go.
we got a bench brush, you can use that.
No, okay. What I'm going to do, got the bottom smooth, just smoothed. Then we're going to fix this edge and we'll do the top. But this, if you look at these two hats, this one's got a lot more curve. This one's got not as much curve. That's just dealing with what we're fixing to do. We can either make a lot of curve or just a little bit of curve. There again, it's just,
Okay, so the whole curve doesn't come from your press part of it, comes from your turning too?
yep. Because when you start at the edge of the brim, basically they say it's a third, and a third. Third curving down, third basically the bottom. It's not flat, but it's the bottom. And then this rest of the thirds turned up going to that brim, the 3/4 inch mark on brim. You try to make it as smooth as you can.
This track, is that from dry?
Yep. When you dry the hat, and it's going to be in a press like that with the rubber bands, always tape the front and the back. In a big hurry, I taped the front and didn't get around to the back. Went in and ate dinner. Come back. But that, I like cracks. Like this big one, it had a natural, then it had a crack here. That's what that, like that little one, it formed. I didn't take the time. But normally when you're drying with a big hat or little hat, you put tape on the end grains to retard the drying. Now most of the guys that do the hats, they put whether it be a big one, little one, they put a 50-50 solution of lacquer thinner and, lacquer thinner and lacquer, just to retard the drying. I hadn't had that much problem with it, but I have used that. Yes, sir.
Are they, you saying they put that 50-50 on there while it's on the little form?
Well, while it's on the lathe.
While it's on the lathe?
While it's on the lathe.
Okay.
And they're pretty heavy coat. It's just like I said, it's nothing but just retard. I honestly, it may be the wood around here. I just have not done it since I probably last couple of years. Now it's probably better to do it, but if I get a little crack, I'm not too worried about it. I really like. Sometimes I really like the cracks and what you can do with them. All right, what we're going to do this round, let's see, I better true it up to the 6 5/8. And 5 is the 3 you had in the middle for I call it the hat part. I think I'll come up with 6 5/8 on that. Ooh, we got a lot to take off. This 6 5/8 measurement for this outside diameter, that's, it could be more, it could be a little less. Just after you do it, you just have to get to see how much brim that you like to have in the hat. I hadn't done very many different styles. Still a little big. There we go, 6 5/8. A little bad spot in the bottom, so we'll have to go. All right, we'll just cut some of that off. All right, let's see what we can do on this bottom corner. What we're going to try to do is get almost a finished cut. Because once we get this bottom edge, and there's y'all see the knot running in a bad spot, but we came up about a 1/16 of an inch, and we're probably in about a 3/8. That ain't gonna work. This is going to be our finished bottom. We're going to come up 3/4. What we want to do is try to go in straight as we can. Then we'll know where, when we get this shape done, we'll be at the level that will be the top of the brim near the hat band. We got our 3/4. The hat band, we'll figure out how tall we want to make it. But from the top of the hat band, you can make your hat 2, 2 1/8, 2 1/4. We'll just somewhere around 2 1/8 is what we'll shoot for. We can adjust that toward the end. All right. What I did there was get a 2-inch measurement. That's going to be the top, roughly. You can adjust it a little bit. Top of the hat. What I have to think about, you do your hat in the round, and then you're bending it. If you don't make this top small enough, your hat will end up looking, let's see, maybe one of those I turned, it's the one I got in the clamp over here. To me, it's too straight on the sides because this doesn't bend very much. It warped, you can see it's changed a little bit, but not that much. Whatever this diameter that we're fixing to turn up here, when it gets clamped, dried, everything, it needs to be in more than this side. Looking for a tool that I had. I'll pass this around. That's it's a kind of a freehand grind. And the main part I'm using just that very tip. It's got a bevel on the side. It's smaller you can get the bevel, the better off you are. You got more control of it. This is going to be the 3 1/8 inch. What you're going to do, you want to sneak up on it a little bit more than I did there. Because I got sandpaper, but I'm going to prefer not to sand it. Ah. Yes.
I see on some of yours, the fan is kind of perpendicular to the rim.
Mm-hmm.
Others, it's tapered, so which do you prefer?
I used to do them this way. I call it ignorance. And then I kept looking at them, and they look to me, they look better when they lean back. When I say leaning back on this front edge.
Yeah, I mean, that one's closer to being 90 degrees.
Mm-hmm. Here's a little narrow one.
Like that one is
Yeah.
more tapered.
And sometimes it's just how you do it. You get carried away, and you make a oops. And I do those all the time. And that's another thing. That's why any of them that I do, they're never the same twice. Like I said, you can see a little bits of difference in it. This is where it comes in the left hand, makes it a lot easier on you. What I was doing, so I could get in here, is changing this angle up a little bit, make it more this way than this way, so I can get the tool in. And when you're doing close quarters, there's another one I learned from Chris, is wings. And everybody's caught a wing before. These wings on this one, not good for much. They're just a bumper. Because what I was doing on this grinder wheel is still rolling. Do the ends, get it the angle I want, and then I kind of push it up and rotate it. And I'm rotating it all pretty far over, so I'm taking the wings off. That way when I get down to this bottom, it won't get hung. Because normally, with any of y'all that's turned a lot, you know what a catch. Let's see how far we off. What's that? Yeah, it's a mess. Oh, one of that one with the feather on the side, I had it all finished. I said, I'm going to straighten just that little bit. Skated. But that's why the top of that hat's a little bit smaller. Yeah. How big is that? Kind of eyeballing where I want the top of the hat band to be. So I'm going to try to make one cut all the way up and stop right at the headband. I don't want to throw little numbers out, but it's going to be a little bitty offset. less than a 1/16 of an inch, just enough so you'll see it. Got a little, I could have used a little more angle on the headband, but it's good and smooth, so we'll leave it alone there. We got, I think we're at 2 1/4 on the height. 2 3/16, that's close enough on that.
One of your favorite woods?
I thought it was going to be, but see how dark that is? I was wanting it light, because when we get to the inside, the maple, anything that's light colored, hardwood wise, it's just going to, the light will come through it better. And it's important with one of these, but it's extra important on a big hat, because the big hats are a little thinner than the mini hats are.
Can you find cherry brim located?
Not yet.
Unless you go to see Chris.
Yep. There's another Jerry Meismer.
North Carolina?
Mm-hmm. But any of those states up there, you just got better selection on woods like that. Normally this is the tool that I like to use the most. It's heavier, but I wasn't sure with this type steel if those grinding wheels would sharpen it, so I'm saving it a little bit. This is just a standard 5/8 bowl gouge. This is Jimmy Clues's 1/2 inch, I think they V-taper. Yeah, I ain't gonna worry with that other light yet. What I'm gonna try to do now is just to we're gonna take it a little bit at a time till we get up to this bottom of the hat band. We're gonna make a slow curve, then we're gonna make a slow curve up. And the reason for the curved part, it just helps in the bending and getting the look that you want. Yeah. I wanted to use this tool that I had out here. Where did it go? But anyway, I couldn't get to the shape of it right. I do most of mine like that, free-handed. But that's dangerous. It's good when it works.
You're curving that down towards the base of the rim and top of the rim?
Yeah, I've done the first third, working on the second third, and this flat starts turning up. You have that knot in there. See if I can get rid of these little lines. There's some lines. See if we can get them. Yeah. Yeah, any of that stuff, if I need to move, y'all just say the word. We're not going to sand any, so that would get rid of this right in here. You'd have to let it dry a little bit to get it to sand.
How long does it take a hat to dry?
Let's say we finished at 12 o'clock today. When you got through turning, put it on that thing, give it a few cranks, let it sit 5-10 hours. And then next day, normally one like that within 24 hours, it's dry enough for me. I put a moisture meter on it. Now I've got a air conditioned shop and the humidity's 55s, 60, like it ought to be. So it does dry pretty fast. Now even these big ones, about 24 hours. As long as you need to. That only thing that is to preserve it like it is. It stinks, and you can feel how heavy that is. It's full of water. It's just once you get it cut like that.
So you're turning it when it's soaked.
Oh, soaking wet.
Yeah. Okay.
And the poplar was a lot worse than that. You can see the stains here, but on my face shield normally we just got some on it now.
Steve, can you soak a blanket in water and have it last longer?
Not a dry. I don't know about a dry one, but a wet one. I buy these Rubbermaid garbage cans, big as I can get, because they're like a hat blank is 18 inches roughly. I rough them out, drop them over in there, and fill it full of water. If you stick your nose up to it, it's got a little rank odor about it, but it really gets rank if you don't change the water out periodically.
You're not really getting a whole lot of movement on your live oak because it dries so fast.
I reckon, because I wish I could remember the term. There's two types of water. Free water, that's the part it's slinging out. And then there's water that I believe I'm saying it right, that's in the cells or something. That's what takes a little longer to get out. But that free water, that's what's all over me, the face mask. There's a little on this thing, not that much. If y'all want to come up and look at it just a minute, we'll stop for just a minute. You get just idea what kind of cut you can get, especially with the wet wood. Yep. The other thing they say that lacquer is good for, the thin lacquer, is to keep you from getting fingerprints all over it. See that right here? Yeah, that's where you're hitting a different grain, right in that bottom, and you're starting to go up. You really need to be cutting down.
Could you use
Negative rake scraper.
not a scraper, but they take a scraper and scrape it, cut it this way, and then cut it back that way?
Yeah, that's that negative rake. I've never tried them that much, but I went ahead and made some. This is my dad's old stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That does a really nice job for me, but I don't have it. I have it real small on this side and more on this side.
That's,
But that's just the way I do it.
yeah, that's got the burr on.
Yeah.
They say the burr will last about 20 seconds.
Yeah, they won't
That's
last
about all it will.
last long.
Let's see if it would. Yeah, it would fit in there.
Yeah, because you just about have to have different sizes depending on the size of the hat
Oh yeah.
to make it work right.
And normally, I turn this, would it turn the other way?
Yeah,
Because I'm right-handed.
that's right.
But
You can't get up in here.
it's a lot easier because I'm not flipping it back and forth, so when I turn the inside, it's not out of balance at all. Now, I'm fixing to put the hat band on it, the color, which they always wait till they get through, but I like to have a solid block of wood under it.
The more wood you have, the better off you are.
Oh, yeah. Now we won't worry about that negative rate.
I want you to know you're doing a good job.
I don't talk enough. So if y'all need to
No, you're doing a good job.
jump in,
I'm trying to figure out my time.
what time is it?
Almost 11.
Well, I'm fixing to do the inside.
Yeah.
I'll try. Is that too much light on that hat?
A little bit. There we go. That's good.
This is a little out of the sequence that they normally do, but normally they put this color, the hat band, after it's been hollowed, and it's mounted on this to do the top. But every time I've done it, it's out of round. I think it's because I'm slow. I don't speed through them real fast. So I've gotten to where I do it this way. This is ebony. I think it's several types of ebony, but this is whatever the blacker one is. And I sand it. This is what I use. I just stick it on my lathe. Sand it while it's get a good point. I've got it's about 1,200. We'll try around 1,200. What we're going to do is supposedly burn 4 black bands, and then we'll do the Paduke and do the center part. Does that show up good? Yeah. Okay. Now this is just the way I was taught to do it. I have done them where I just do a black top and a black bottom. In fact, we'll do it that way. Now this is Paduke, done the same way. What they say is an oily wood. Give me the other end.
Steve, I know you don't do this on dry wood, but have you ever tried using this on a dry wood to see if this color would come off like that?
I don't see why it wouldn't. I've never tried it, but I don't see why it wouldn't do. I didn't have nothing to do last night, so I'm watching YouTube videos at Johannes Mickelson. I was watching him work with a McNeil. Anyway, and that's what he did. I said, well, I'll try it today. I never tried. What he focuses on is making it rub, stay longer toward the edges, and stay lighter in the middle, just for a different look. Which you can see any of these, they're all different. Now I can show you these. They make and I failed to bring it with me, they make colored pins. So kind of a felt tip pin. There's a specific one that matches that Paduke. Because you got a spot that's a little lighter, you can take that pin and touch it up. What I do, I touch it up, and before it dries, I take my thumb and just drag across it, and it changes it up.
That looks great right there.
And you're not looking for perfection. All right. Not rocket science, but y'all can just see what that. Well, understand that the sharper the angle, you better off you are. As long as it'll stay together. You can get a finer mark. That, what's her name, Janice Levy? That's what I'd like to do one day. I tried it on one of these mini hats, but I wasn't successful with it. The burning, pyrography.
Do you do any sanding on it at any time?
Yeah.
Right after it's dry, or like right
I would have, because this is fairly dry. I would usually I hit it with 120, 180, 220. If it needs it, go ahead and do some 320 or 400. I got a little electric sander.
while it's on the lathe, you do that?
Yeah, while it's on the lathe. Now, with these mini hats, it's a little different. You can't get in everywhere. So you have to hold it with your hand. Be careful. Reverse it for the first time. Next grit, I go back the other direction, and the final grit, whatever, I change directions on it. They say it's better. I'm not sure, but I forgot to do something.
So you're not gonna sand over that hat man now that you got it covered?
No, I would sand up to it. Yeah, I would do that. And like I said, if you have a oops moment and you get into the hat band with sandpaper or whatever, you can solve that.
I'm gonna try to cool it off for y'all tonight.
Just rounding a few corners. Sharp corners crack and sharp corners cut. We're fixing to get into the, I reckon you call it the harder part of it. Ah, there it is. You got a light that. Just double check and make sure it hadn't. Tighten it up a little bit. Yeah. Did I hand one of my tools around? Looking for a small gouge.
Small one right here on this end that you passed. That, you had your hand on it.
Ah, that. Yep, there it is. It was laying there upside down. I'm gonna fix to turn the lights off in a few minutes. Is that gonna bother the filming or whatever?
It is what it is.
This light is not too bright, but it might hit the inside.
Well, I'm not gonna, shouldn't need it, but I may, because I'm gonna have this one on the outside. But we'll see. We're just gonna have to see. All right. right there where we'll try to make the rest of this the same thickness as what we've got here. And right there is where we need to start, but to get a good cut, you got to start before. And what will work, we'll see how this one works. That's why I like to have a real small bevel on the end, and I don't have quite small enough, but we'll see what we got. Let's turn these lights and see if we can see if his light will shine through there yet.
Hey, Ed, you hit that switch over there on the wall? Look, yeah, that's.
Can y'all see that light? Yeah. Okay. I'm used to beating it some. It is. Yeah. It's warping a little bit. I hadn't had to yet now, but it's like adding the lubricants. It makes it cut better. I see a oops here, so see if I can get it out with this. I think I'm going to. It would sand out.
Oh, yeah, I was definitely saying it. You makes me nervous too.
Yeah. Like I said, all I can do is break. Like this bowl gouge, I'm sticking it in, it'll cut so far and then it quits cutting. It's hitting that wing. If I, you can see it better. Get that. This needs to stay up here, but it keeps dropping down. But this, let's see, side grain is bright. End grain is bright. Side grain is not as much. That's about 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, if we get to the worst part is the top.
The worst part would be that inside the hat part.
Yeah, that's part of the top. Yeah, try this one. Get this out of the way. Yeah. This brim, that point right there, can y'all see my finger? And right there, that's where it starts getting black. So what we're going to start doing is, we'll leave this about 1/8 of an inch. We'll start cutting in now and just see what we can. Whoop. little paper towels or something like
Some right feet right on the wall and just
that. All right.
walk straight in there.
Ah,
You ever using the carbide tools to do that?
and they may do fine. I just don't have any.
Seems like soft hardwood would be easier than something like oak.
It may be.
Like you ever tried hackberry
Mm.
track? It's got a wood, but it's real white.
Yeah, that's the reason I went to get this white oak, but it's turned out darker. But it makes a pretty hat. But on that carbide tools, a lot of the reason I don't, I got some of these tools that's 40 years old and older from my dad. So I still use some of them. That's just some negative rate scrapers I made Thursday just to see if I could use them.
The open grain wood versus the tight grain wood, does this have a tendency to crack more when it dries out there?
I don't know because the poplar split on me. And I don't know if you'd consider that a tight grain or what. The maple, which is real dense, they say it will split if you do not tape the end grains. Packing tape's what they normally put on it. Well, let's see. I'm gonna have to take that off. I can't see. Yeah, that'll help out. Whether I'm using this big tool or the small one, what I'm trying to do is get it rolled over, close the flute, and get this bevel lined up with this. When you're over the top of it, you can tell where the tip of this is going in, where that is to give you an idea. Because I'm well over a 1/4 inch thick now. As we get a little closer, we'll start doing with the gauge. 1/4 inch. There at the hat band, we're at least 1/4 inch thick, so we'll try to go in and get it down a little bit. Yeah, we're getting in there now. We're almost there on the hat band. We may make it a little thinner. Just this tool is, I'm just not getting the right. I'd hate you asked that. It's just, I'm not used to this. I'm used to those CBN wheels, and this table's in the way. I'm just having to lean over, so I don't. So run this back off. See what we can do with it now.
I guess my question is you doing a real sharp angle or more?
Where I'm at now, I'm gonna say it's probably, if I had to guess, 60 degree. Because I'm trying to get it at a certain angle. On this side over here, instead of being steep like this, I might do it like this. Because they're both cut.
Right, sure.
You just have to take a little more time with it. Yeah, we better get.
I guess my question is if you went more like a 30-degree angle, would it be easier to cut in there?
It might be. Just, I'm just having a hard time getting the shape and all. I'm just not used to that. It's all on me. It's a good grinder, good wheels. I'm just not used to it. And we're believe it or not, we're still too thick right there. Ye of little faith there. Yeah. We'll leave it alone. It's a little thicker than I'd have it, but whoop. I can see light right about where my thumb is. See that? I don't know if it's a little pinhole in the side. Well, it's several. Where that end grain tube's going through.
That's what super glue's for.
Can y'all see up in there or not? Oh, okay. Can you see it? Well, see whatever. Right there's one of them holes right there.
The light keeps getting brighter.
You read a book through there.
Yeah, it's got to go deeper. I need to go up in about a 1/4 inch more. Really, I'm about a 1/2 inch from the top. We can do that, I reckon.
Have you ever tried it with a hollowing rig instead of by hand?
No, tear out. That's what I'm thinking. Down, well, mine does. It's a David Ellsworth, and it just tears on the inside. Normally, this tool I'm trying to use, of course, it's supposed to be about that long, but anyway.
It started out it's longer this morning.
Yeah, that's where it,
That's just this morning.
that's what, no. I know, I just had this one, and it was my bottom feeder, and I'd change it to do this, so. Now, for the technical side, eyeball and measure it, kind of see where I'm at. Okay.
That might be important.
I hadn't tried this before, but what I'm trying to do is dome that top of it. I'm just going to see what this homemade negative rake scraper will do. Got a little bump in the bottom, but I'm not going to worry with it. Y'all have an idea of it, what we're doing. Normally this, like I said, this inside is going to be a lot more uniform, but y'all get the idea. This is a homemade out of some, y'all ever heard of radiata pine plywood? Radiata pine, that's what we called it years ago. It comes out of Chile. Roca, I think the Roca Mill's one that makes this particular one. It's like white pine, basically. If you can imagine working with white pine plywood. And the glue in it's exterior grade, and it turns easy. But anyways, this is the light that it fits up in here. Yeah, I know it's here. Oh, there it is. Snake it a bit me. Proud of myself. I turned it the correct way. I usually turn it the other way, and to take my hand off, it falls off. What I used to have is just a face plate screwed to the back of it. Probably need to do it again, but I didn't have enough face plates. Well, that ain't gonna work. I'll have to use mine. There it goes. Whoop. Yeah. Maybe I can hit that button. There's a button on the back of the flashlight. That doesn't go all the way through on this one. It's hitting something in there. There it went. Nah, I have to take it off. Again, this is not my idea on that. I think Johannes Mickelson uses a light bulb and wire and all this. Chris Ramsey, I don't know if he developed it or who did. Just flashlight from anywhere. This one come from Harbor Freight. I don't need to do that. It's gonna stay true enough. This is just a little, get it off a little bit. Helps hold it on.
Is that just like a shelf lining material?
Yeah, I think it is. This is just proper name. Goes under area rugs to keep them from sliding all over the place. Yeah. Not running perfect, but see if we can cut the top off. That light's not, is that too much light? And I'm not pushing what my hands did for 100 years, but if you get used to keeping it up next to your body, and all I'm doing is rotating hips. Easier said than done, especially if you've been doing it for a while the wrong way.
Good catch.
Lucky. Let's see.
Good catch.
Good hole, huh? Now, to me, this is the hardest part.
What would it hurt for it to be thicker over the top? Would it split?
Honestly, to my knowledge, nothing.
That's what I thought.
It won't shave. If it's thinner, it'll change the shape when you mash the sides in a little bit. Can y'all see it now?
Yeah. On the side.
That's where we wanted to go. Now, we see where we stopped, so we're gonna cut down, see if we miss it or not.
We'll know real quick, huh?
Oh yeah. We still got a ways.
Yeah, I see the light. Yeah.
Okay. Again, I say you have little faith.
Yeah, it's nerve wracking.
Yeah, no wonder you're on high.
You know what the doctor said? My heart's fine. It's just everything that ran to it wasn't no good. Well, go ahead and tell everybody. I told everybody yesterday at dinner. If you hadn't had, getting up in age, if you hadn't had your heart checked, go ahead and get it done. A thorough one.
Coming up in 2 weeks.
I'm going to round this a little bit, just do a little. Slow it down so let's roll. I just broke that off with the grain. It just gets it down real thin. I'm going to try this bottom feeder on there and see what it does. I'm not putting much pressure on it. Whoop!
That's good enough.
You ever take it to that board, vacuum board there?
Nah. Might need to, but I never do. It may do. I just never have tried this one, so I. Ah.
I was thinking spindle gouge or a detail gouge too might be
You're normal, huh, buddy?
Yeah.
Well, we could have got you some when we cleared out Bob's shop.
Yeah, I did. Bob gave you a bunch of them. He thought I was.
That's why he had it.
Hey, he thought I was serious.
Mark?
Well,
Okay. Yeah.
This is that. Never can think that guy's out of Georgia.